Okay, so good morning to everyone. This is the video discussion for Unit 1 and Unit 2 of our Modern English Grammar or the English Language Proficiency. So this is going to tackle Unit 1 and 2. Unit 1 for correct usage, under which are pronoun and its antecedents, the use of do, does, and did, as well as the usage of have, has, and had. For Unit 2, you have the following: sentence fragments, run-on sentences, comma splice, misplaced and dangling modifiers, faulty parallelism, redundancy, as well as inconsistency in verb tense. So let's start. Okay, there are hardly any profession in which an ability to write and speak crisply and effectively without grammatical mistakes is not a requirement on some occasions. Although, hindi naman natin sinasabi that if you are not good in speaking or in writing or if you are not good in grammar, hindi ka na magaling in other fields. But remember that this is the foundation of everything. According to this, anyone who aims to improve their writing on the basis of another person's technical criticism needs to grasp enough of the technical terms of grammatical description to make sure the criticism can be understood and implemented. So we cannot correct someone else's mistakes without actually being aware or being equipped with the knowledge of the correct grammar. So when you try to look at the program of the Department of Education, they actually encourage the learners to be aware or to be equipped with the knowledge of their native tongue, because we have our native tongue, yung sinasabi nating mother tongue. Kaya meron silang course or program na Mother Tongue-Based Education, that is MTBMLE, because they believe that you have to learn first the foundation before you can actually move to the higher level of learning or higher level of skills. So, bago ka magkaroon ng writing skills, speaking skills, and many other skills, you have to develop first your awareness of the correct usage of grammar. Okay, so we have to discuss now the pronouns and their antecedents. Let's define first pronouns. When we say pronoun, this is actually a substitute for a noun. I know you are all aware of that. Pronoun is a substitute for noun. Say for example, ayaw mong sabihin na si Jane, you say she. Or ayaw mong sabihin na si John, you say he. So you use pronouns to substitute noun if you do not want to state their specific name. Now, what is antecedent? An antecedent is the word, phrase, or clause to which a pronoun refers, understood by the context. The antecedent in the following sample sentence is bolded and italicized. So this is an example. The critique of Plato's Republic was written from a contemporary point of view. It was an in-depth analysis of Plato's opinions about possible governmental forms. So let's locate where the pronoun lies. So the pronoun there is it. And that it is referring to Plato's Republic. Again, yung pronoun natin is the word it. Yan, nakabold siya. And then, the word it or the pronoun it is referring to Plato's Republic. Therefore, Plato's Republic, which is a noun, is an antecedent. Another example here. We have Dr. Ellen finish her report. The pronoun here is her. And its antecedent is Dr. Ellen. So, bakit her ang ating pronoun? Because your antecedent is a noun, which is specifically a girl. Next one, we have a student should hand his or her report. Okay, we do not know if that student is a boy or a girl. Therefore, you use the pronoun his or her. So, for the information of everybody, there is actually an agreement, or there should be an agreement of pronoun and antecedent. Now, it should be the pronoun that should agree with the antecedent and not the antecedent. So, you have to base the pronoun that you are going to use based on your antecedent. So, antecedent is a noun where the pronoun is referring to. So, that is pronoun and its antecedent. Next, we move on to our next topic, the use of do, does, and did. These do, does, and did are actually called auxiliary verbs. Why? Because they function as support in the sentence. And they are used with a main verb to give grammatical information and therefore add extra meaning to a sentence information that is not given by the main verb. So when you say helping verbs or auxiliary verbs, they are not the main verb in the sentence. They function for a certain role, that is to give emphasis or whatever, or to signal question, something like that. Say, for example, in this, do I know you? So the word do there is not the verb. It just signals that this statement is a question. Kasi pag tinanggal mo yung do I know you, it's no longer a question. So do I know you, it signals that a question is answerable by yes or no, but your main verb is no. Another thing is, do you like this? So it's another question answerable by yes or no, wherein the main verb is like. So nakikita natin yung do dyan is not the main verb. It's just acting as a helping verb. Next, when do we use them? Okay, you have to take note of these 3 reminders. We use do when the subject is I, you, we, and they. Do we like this? Do we have this? Do you have this? I have this. They have that. Use does for third-person singular pronouns such as he, she, it. She does it. He does it. It does that. So, use did for past form of both do and does. When you are referring to past actions or already happened actions, you use the word did or auxiliary verb did. Okay, when do we use them? We use them also when you are asking yes-no questions, when you are expressing negatives, kaya meron tayong doesn't, don't, or didn't. And emphasizing idea. Kaya sinasabi natin minsan, I love you, but when you say I do love you, you are actually emphasizing the idea that you actually love that person. And then for forming WH questions. So here are other examples. Next, we proceed to the usage of has, have, and had. We use has with third person singular. So, ang has ay katapat ng ating thus. Some pronouns and plural nouns. So, have ang katapat ng ating do. And had is a past tense of both has and have. Say, for example, she has a good future. She is a third person singular, so you use the verb has. How about have? Teachers have difficult jobs. Apples have sweet taste. So when you try to observe it, these nouns are in plural form, therefore you use the verb have. And the last one is, I had a nice time yesterday. It indicates that yesterday indicates that the action is already done, therefore you use the verb had. My mother had a lot of dreams last night. So it was last night, it's in the past tense, therefore you use the verb had. Now we proceed to our Unit 2, that is correcting sentences. The first error in sentence is sentence fragments. When we define fragment as a verb, it means to break up, to break into pieces, to cause the loss of unity or cohesion. Now, when we define it as a noun, it's a fragment means a part, broken, or incomplete. Therefore, when we say sentence fragment, It's a group of words that do not express a complete thought or meaning. Isn't it that when you define a sentence, you say, sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. So sentence fragment is the opposite of a sentence because a sentence fragment does not express a complete thought or meaning. So examples here is, Abby likes. Next one, I hate. So there's nothing to be conveyed here. The sweet apples. So how about the sweet apples? What about it? And riding joyfully. Who is riding joyfully? So these are all sentence fragments because you do not get the point of the sentence. You are not getting what it is trying to convey since they are incomplete. Now, let's study how do we correct fragmented sentences. So first, we have fragment that is missing a subject and a verb. So what you're going to do is just to identify what is missing in the sentence and you're going to supply it. For example, missing ang kanyang subject, missing ang kanyang verb, then you're just going to supply it. And fragment that is missing object or complement, fragment that begins with preposition. So you restructure the sentence in such a way that it is complete. Fragments that begins with gerund, fragments that begin with dependent words. Say, for example, here is, Abby likes. So, example natin kanina, you can add an object. What does Abby like? So, you could actually write their apples. So, Abby likes apples. Therefore, that fragmented sentence before is now a complete sentence. I hate apples is a complete sentence. The sweet apples are sold. And here, riding joyfully, it's an incomplete sentence kanina, pero you try to supply subject, he was riding joyfully. So, they are now complete sentences and no longer fragmented. Next, we proceed to run-on sentences. What are these run-on sentences? These exist when two independent clauses are not joined with the proper conjunction or punctuation. So, since these sentences do not have proper conjunction or punctuation, you can just correct them by adding punctuation, using the right comma or right conjunction, and use semicolon. Examples, you think you're happy, look at you. So, parang it's run-on. There are independent clauses here, but they are not separated, so you cannot get the point of the sentence. Another thing is, Henry hosted party, but he did not spend any penny. It seems there's nothing wrong, but when you try to study that one, the structure, it's very wrong because the independent clauses are running on each other. Kaya siya tinawag na run-on kasi magkasunod lang siya without proper punctuation. So, you try to look at it when it is corrected. You think you're happy? Look at you. So, iniisip mo masaya ka? Tingnan mo yung sarili mo. So, that's the point of the sentence. Next one is, Henry hosted a party, but he did not spend any penny. So, yung two independent clauses, they are still joined, but of course with a comma. Next, comma splice. It's almost similar with run-on sentence, only that in this situation, a comma splice occurs when two independent clauses are incorrectly joined by a comma to make one sentence. So, para lang ipa-separate yung dalawang sentence, ay naglalagay na lang siya ng comma. And that is wrong because not every series in a sentence ay kailangang lagyan ng comma or comma ang tamang punctuation. Now, how do we correct them? We add conjunction, we change the comma to semicolon, and we make separate sentences. So, first, here, Netflix is the in thing now. Everyone has subscription to it, I guess. So, Netflix is the in thing now is an independent clause or already a sentence. So, you should put a period to that. So, Netflix is the in thing now. Everyone has subscription to it, comma, I guess. Next, my sister celebrated her birthday last Friday. It was a lot of fun. So, naglagay na lang siya ng comma just to separate those two independent clauses, but they are not series. Ginagamit lang ang comma if you are listing series. So, ang gagawin dito ay, my sister celebrated her birthday last Friday, and it was a lot of fun. You write or you put there or you add there a conjunction. Okay, next we proceed. To misplaced and dangling modifier. So what is modifier? A modifier is a word, phrase, or clause that clarifies or describes another word, phrase, or clause. In other words, modifiers are descriptive words. Now, what is misplaced modifier? Misplaced modifier is a word, phrase, or clause that is improperly separated from the word it modifies. So usually, the position is, for example, that is a delicious ice cream. So yung delicious na yun, kailangan nasa tabi siya ng ice cream so that you can determine that the word delicious is trying to modify the word ice cream. Now, there are different kinds of misplaced modifiers. Or there are, kinds. So, misplaced adjectives are incorrectly separated from the nouns they modify, and the result is they always distort the intended meaning. So, makikita natin mamaya sa examples. And then, placement of adverbs can also change meaning in sentence. Bakit? Kasi, if you misplace the modifier, kung saan-saan mo nilalagay yung modifier mo, it could change the meaning of the sentence. Another thing is, it could sound awkward and it could make the sentence nonsense. And the last one is, it will create meaning that does not make sense. Okay, it's similar to the third one. Example, Lina washed away the sofa with a stain. Next, I saw a young girl without head playing a doll. So, parang nakikita natin dito, on the first example, Lina washed away the sofa with a stain. Parang ang ginamit ni Lina to wash away the sofa is a stain. Next, I saw a young girl without head playing a doll. So, parang yung girl na naglalaro, siya na yung walang ulo. Next, most students nowadays come to school late always. So, parang it's the school very late always because of the misplaced modifiers. But the correct way of writing your modifiers or of placing your modifiers is this way. Lina washed away the stain on the sofa. That makes sense, right? Because Lina is trying to remove the stain on the sofa. And then next one is, I saw a young girl playing a doll without head. So, yung nilalaro ng young girl na yun is a doll without a head. So, those are other corrections. We just try to study them. Next one, we also have the dangling modifier. So, the difference between misplaced modifier and dangling modifier is that when we say dangling modifier, some phrases or clauses are not clearly or logically related to a word it modifies. So sometimes a modifier is missing, a subject is missing, a verb is missing, or some parts of the sentences are actually not supplied. So, in our misplaced modifier, ililipat mo lang yung modifier. Dito sa dangling modifier, ang gagawin mo ngayon ay to supply what is missing in the sentence. Kung nawawala yung minomodify, you supply the with correct or appropriate words. So, here are examples. After watching her favorite movie, the television was turned off. So, who turned off the television? It's not mentioned here. Drinking coffee, my stomach was in so much pain. So, we do not know who is drinking coffee. Now, when we correct it, after watching her favorite movie, Jane turned off the television. While I am drinking coffee, my stomach was in so much pain. Next, we proceed to faulty parallelism. In sentences, we usually list series of words like nouns, infinitives, like that. So, sometimes, hindi parallel yung ating minimension sa ating sentence. But, it says here that you commit faulty parallelism when you use parallel structure with elements in list or in series of words, infinitives, prepositional phrases, or clauses. So, this is actually saying that you should use parallel structure when constructing sentences. So, for example here, she loves eating, dancing, and to sing. So, tingnan niyo yung sentence ngayon. Parang hindi na siya pareho. Loves, eating, and dancing. Those are all verbs ending in ing. Tapos biglang to sing. It's infinitive. To plus verb na siya. So, they are no longer having parallel structure. So, paano natin siya i-correct? Pwede siyang i-correct by way of saying, she loves eating, dancing, and singing. So, pare-pareho na siya. They are already parallel. Next, pwede mo rin siyang gawing purely infinitive. She loves to eat, to dance, and to sing. Okay, next one. Okay, these are another examples. We just study them. Next, we proceed to redundancy. Redundancy means superfluity of using words for a second time. Example, paano po yung redundancy, ma'am? Bakit sinasabi nila sa akin to? So, this is example. It is a true fact. So, pwede mo namang sabihin it is true or it is a fact na lang because when you say it's true, it's already a fact. Now, when you say it's a fact, it's already true. So, hindi mo na pwedeng or hindi mo na sabihin it is a true fact because that is redundancy. Another thing, it's exactly almost the same. So, pwede mo naman siyang sabihin it's the same or pwede mo na lang sabihin na it's the same because exactly almost the same, that is already a redundancy. For example, it is a free gift. When you say a gift, it is free. So, pwede mo na lang sabihin it is a gift or it is free. And do not mention free anymore kapag minention mo na yung gift because that is redundancy. Ayan. Okay, and the last one, we have the inconsistency in verb tense. So, sometimes, we narrate a story as our main purpose in writing. So, now here, writers generally maintain one tense for the main discourse and indicate changes in time by changing tense relative to that primary tense. But, non-narrative writing should employ verb tense consistently and clearly. So, kung nagsusulat lang tayo ng sentences, kailangan we maintain consistent verb tense. That is, do not shift from one tense to another if the time frame for each action or state is the same. So, we have here examples. The ocean contains rich minerals that wash down from rivers and streams. So, para din siyang faulty parallelism or parallelism, only that this is referring to the tense of the verb. So, when you try to observe the sentence, ang nakasulat dyan sa una ay contains. And the next verb mentioned is wash down. It's already a past tense. So, kailangan your sentence should be, the ocean contains rich minerals that wash down from rivers and streams. So, that's how you have verb consistency when you are writing sentences. And verb consistency is hindi lang sa ating tense. Kapag, if you are writing sentences na naka-plural form yung inyong verb, so all throughout, your verb should be in the base form. Kapag singular naman, so all your verbs should be in singular form. That is verb consistency. So that will be all for your units 1 and 2, and thank you so much for listening. Remember this, my dear students. They say intelligence is the key to success, but there is also a door, and that is hard work. So it does not only take intelligence to reach the success. You have to have hard work. Now, if you have questions, you can drop your questions in our group chat. Thank you so much for watching and for listening.